Hey allihopa, hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Say It in Swedish. I'm your host, JOAKIM, and today we need to go back to basics. We need to talk about plurals. Because a lot of you're asking about plurals, and I see it in general learning groups on Facebook and whatnot. I see people asking about Swedish plurals because it's not as easy as just, slapping an S onto a word and then you have plural. No, let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into this. So, Swedish nouns, they all have a grammatical gender, and in Swedish we have two of those, and you can check out my video on that here if you're unfamiliar about this. You need to know this before you move on and you come back and watch the rest of this video. Let's begin with the common gender or the N words, as we say. It sounds a bit peculiar in English, but I'm talking about the article N. Right. So here we have four groups of words, and they all have a different plural ending. So the first one contains words that end on an A. And in plural, in the indefinite plural, like the basic plural, the indefinite form, those words end on or, O-R, or. So let's take a word. We have soffa. En soffa. So soffa ends on an A. And if you have more than one, you have soffor. So the A is gone and you replace it with O-R. Soffor. And in the definite plural, and this is the easy one, you just add N-A. Na. So in the definite plural, you have sofforna. And this is the same for all of these, so it's always gonna be na in the end, which is pretty good, right? So you have soffa, soffor, sofforna. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer here. This ending, the or ending, is most likely going to be pronounced as er, E-R. And we have that ending too. So it can be confusing for you when you start to, write down Swedish and like you're listening and you're learning words by ear. It can be confusing, but this is one group and the ER group is another group, but we still pronounce or as er a lot of times. So I would say soffer, for instance, not soffor. Or I would use both interchangeably. But you need to know this, all right? So, soffa, soffor, sofforna. Group number 2 are the words ending on a consonant or the vowel E, which is the letter E, all right? And in the indefinite plural, we get the ending ar, A-R. So let's take two examples here because we have two different endings. So the consonant ending, for that we can use stol, which means chair. Stol. In plural, chairs, we have stolar. Easy peasy. And then stolarna in the definite plural. Stolarna. So it builds from stol, stolar, stolarna. All right? Then we have pojke. Pojke ends on E. Pojke. The E here gets dropped, and we have pojkar. Pojkar in the indefinite plural. And in the definite plural, pojkarna. Pojkarna. Alright? Pretty easy. But now, group number 3. It's not that straightforward because it also involves words ending on a consonant. And here, we're coming to the R ending. So, this is the ending that you might confuse. When you hear it, you might confuse it with group number 1 because or is pronounced like this one, er, as well. A bit weird, inconsistent, but that's how it is. So a few words, they end on er in plural, but they end on a consonant, so you might think it is group number 2. An example for this is the word police, which means police, right? And we also use this word for the individual cops, right? So a policeman or a policewoman, they're all police. And in plural, we're talking about poliser. Poliser. So poliser. But in the definite plural, we still have that na ending. So poliserna. Poliserna. That's pretty easy, right? So that's cool that in the definite form, we get the same ultimate endings on these indefinite endings. So we are basically using two endings for this. Group number 4 contains words ending on are or er. So A-R-E and E-R. And these endings are typically used with like professions or something that you are. And they stay the same in plural. All right? Completely the same. And in the definite plural, we will have that na ending on top of this. So for instance, we have lärare, which means teacher. Lärare. In plural, we are talking about lärare. It's exactly the same. Now in the definite plural, the ending vowel here, the E gets dropped, and then we put na on that. So lärarna. 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 All right? That was a retroflex sound there. And you can watch my video on that over here if you're unfamiliar with the concept. But my tongue is moving backwards when I'm saying N with an R. It's a bit weird, complicated. If you're from India, you know what I'm talking about. But if I want to stress a word, it's normal that I would pronounce every letter as a Swede. So lärarna is how I say it when I want to be clear. However, we don't talk like that. We say lärarna. A bit of a tangent there, but it was important to say. So while editing, I noticed that I totally messed up this example. So we have the ending ER here in the 4th group, and our example word is magiker. Magiker. Magiker is the same in plural. Magiker, more than one magiker. And in the definite form, it's magikerna. Magikerna. All right, that was all of the plural endings for the common gender. Now, for the neuter gender, the et words, we only have 2 things to talk about there. We have 2 different plural endings. We have those words ending on a vowel, and we have those words ending on a consonant. So group 1, the vowels, they get an N in the plural. Now, in the definite plural, you slap an A on there. So technically, we get the same ending here as with the other words. We get an NA ending. However, it's split between the indefinite form and the definite form, right? So, for instance, we have the fruit, apple, äpple. Äpple, ett äpple. It ends on a vowel. It's an E, äpple. And it turns into äpplen in plural, in the indefinite plural. And äpplena in the definite plural. Then we have group number 2, the words that end on a consonant. And here we have another fruit. We have päron, and they stay the same. Päron, ett päron, and 2 päron. Now, here is the exception. Here comes the exception. In the definite plural here, it's en. It's not na anymore, it's en. So päronen, päronen, päronen in the definite plural. All right, that was just a quick overview of all the plural endings in Swedish. I hope that you could follow along and that you took notes, but you could also choose just to learn them on their own in conjunction with a word, just like you would if you are learning a language natively. But here you go, a gift from me to you, a way maybe to build words on your own and develop a stomach feeling for them, right? That came out weird. As I said before, sometimes you might come across a plural S in Swedish. Then it's most likely a loan word, but beware, it's not always plural. It could also be onular. Yeah, it's weird. We sometimes use that S in a loan word with the word in singular. So muffins, for instance, doesn't mean more than one muffin. It means muffin. It's weird, but beware of that. You might come across it. Another note here, if you're from Finland, moikka, then you're most likely learning Fenno-Swedish, right? And the Fenno-Swedes, they have a weird tendency to use the N plural with words in the common gender, with N words, right? However, this already means the singular definite form, which is confusing for us Swedes. So beware of that. It's most likely not a good thing what they are doing there. So be very aware of this. And if you are a Fenno-Swede, stop it now. Alright everyone, I hope that you liked this video and that you learned something about the basics of Swedish. If you want to learn Swedish in a more structured way, check out the free language course on sayitinswedish.com, where I already talk about this. But this could be seen as a nice way to just go through everything at once in one piece, if you like that. If you want to discuss this video in Swedish and everything, if you want to talk to me basically, you can move on to the Discord server. Links are in the description down below. That's a chat and voice chat and all that, and we can discuss and talk about Swedish and speak Swedish to each other if you want to do that. If not, we will see each other in the next video. Stay safe, ha det bra, puss och kram, hejdå!